Hey everyone, this is my reaction to the third episode of the third season of Overlord. So, in the last episode, Ainz had a bit of a talk with everyone over at Nazarick, basically, and they kind of reminded him about, well, mostly Demiurge reminded him of the main goal of conquering the world, basically. And he had kind of forgot that he said that in episode 1 or 2, I think it was 2. And Demiurge certainly did not forget. I think Demiurge has had that in the back of his mind with a lot of his actions. Thinking that Ainz has more in his head than he actually did. He's a bit more focused on, finding other friends from the game. But anyway, most of the episode was the village, though. The Karen village, basically. Keeping tabs on Nefira and Enri and the goblins and their way of life, basically. And apparently they have some kind of problem they had to deal with as well. We had that one goblin kid that they rescued from that scary wolf. And I guess we'll learn more about that whole conflict in this episode, so let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, play. That's the village, yeah. It didn't always look like that, trust me. It didn't used to have a good wall like that. It just appeared. That does sound bad. Wait a second. Nah, that can't be the case. But yeah, Beta, yay! Yeah, they already know her. I think it was at the end of season 1 when we first saw Beta, like, with that village. When they mentioned something about undead, I was like, are they talking about one of the fake Nazarics that were mentioned before? And it's definitely possible. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but that's what I might as well say that's what came to mind, even if I'm wrong. Really, still a great opening. But yeah. Once in a while I see comments on the internet on reaction videos complaining about someone talking too much. And I feel like they don't get it. When you're reacting, the audience is not mind readers, so if part of your reactions are your thoughts as you see something, and they're not going to know what that thought is unless you voice it. I mean, sometimes they will if it's apparent on your face, but that's not always the case. That's why I always cringe a little bit whenever I see comments like that. I mean, I get that different people have different preferences when it comes to reactions, but my point is complaining about somebody reacting too much on a reaction video is silly. That's my overall point. I'm just kind of killing time during the opening. Let's get back into it. We recently rescued him. We don't know that much about him. What? uh... Uh... Wow, Beta. uh... I wouldn't put it past one of the Pleiadius maids. Nice to see you. Well, of course. Yes, very important part. No way, she's not gonna kill you and steal your materials and sell them at the vendor. Yes, please tell us. Shouldn't there be one more? Yeah. Well, they were having concerns about him leaving the forest. Small shadow. Well, that should be fun. Oh wow. Uh, I don't blame you. I'm sure he can defend it. I figured she would say that as soon as Beta brought that up. I mean, the whole point of the goblins being there is to help out defend the village. So it would be kind of pathetic if they need even more help from Ainz beyond that. Oh? What's up? What, do you want to show him your progress? Yeah, she definitely had an interesting reaction to that. I'll continue to call you Beta, it's easy. Because she has the goblins under her control because of the horn. I totally believe you. I would love to see that. I really would. uh, oh, yes, she is. She actually is. What kind of reputation does she have in this village? Because I don't think we saw too much of her actually in the village. It's something, alright. uh, that was a very nice little scene there. Just watching her adorable sister sleeping. Yeah, it's good, I suppose. Oh, well, that's good. Can we trust them? Oh, wow, they... Yeah, I forgot what the ogres look like. They're definitely something. They are the same creatures that Ainz was like chopping in half back in the back in season 1, right? Here we go. Uh, maybe she's a bit scarier than I thought. Oh, Henry. Yeah, I guess she's come a long way. I bet. Definitely not a simple task. And you succeeded. I don't think they'll attack us. I'm not super confident in that, but I'm leaning towards that direction. Uh, Gonna make me go all by myself. Well, of course. Well, that would be a problem then. World's a big place. I think somebody can relate to you a bit. And yep, I was waiting for the transition. Yep. Please don't stare at me. Uh, where? Under her clothes. It's just a horn, guys. It's not gonna blow up or anything. uh, I was given it. It was just given to me in like episode 3. How so? What are you even basing this suspicion on? It was like presents. What more to answer do you want? Yes, it's not that valuable to him. I'm sure it's very valuable. uh, this guy. Yeah, I might want to keep that safe. Well, I'm sure if he knew that she was friends with, Momon, it probably would be fine. You can't arrest someone for having a fancy item on them. That's ridiculous. Poor Henry. This isn't fair at all. Oh, here we go. This is gonna help. Thank God he showed up when he did. Yeah, he knows her. Although, does she know him in this form? I don't think she does. Because she... Like, didn't she see him as the skeleton? Well, she knows him from that, I guess. This should be good. So how is Momo gonna play this? Oh, he just tells it in private. What's up? Okay. I mean, yeah, like I said, that should be all it takes. I was trying to remember exactly how their meeting went. I know he gave her the potion, then gave her that. I think that was before he decided to wear the mask. Oh, Nabe! Of course Nabe's here too. Yes, she is. She is very beautiful. Like, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful characters in the show, if not the most. Well, they're NPCs, so of course they're designed to look good. She's still doing that. I bet you are. I got stuff to do, basically. Nothing of note, really, but important stuff nonetheless to them. You have no idea. Twin maximize lightning and all that cool stuff she can do. Yeah, that's maybe a job Momon could accept. Of course. Don't sell the horn though. Yeah, they're not gonna cover the whole thing. Yeah, even though I'm not gonna be able to pay it. but I'm sure it's a lot. Just don't sell the horn to pay for it. Well, it's her job, so she can get over it. I just told you not to do that. Although don't get it stolen either, because that's something I'm worried about. Yeah, you probably Okay, she had a change of heart. I guess Mumon again. Can you imagine waking up and suddenly that girl's out on her knees in front of you? This woman. Okay. Okay, I'm really curious exactly what happened now. Amusuke? Tools, you got stuff. I bet. I know, right? I assume Momo did something. Or Nabe, or both. Wow, dude. What are you trying to slip in there? Will that be rude? I'm sure I'll do a good job protecting her. You know that thing where pretty girls always have an unattractive friend? You know, it makes them look better by comparison? I'm kind of reminded of that with her hanging out with goblins. You can have my axe, and my sword, and my knife, and my spear. Looks good. Too good for a goblin, really. Because we already established last episode don't have a blacksmith. Yes, it's a gift. It is, but you should accept it anyway. I mean, it's a purpose in life, so... Well, there you go. We've reached the gates, and someone's there. Okay, now I'm curious. What is this? I mean, he made some kind of offer, but it's obviously not one that's easy to decide on. Beta. Beta's a lot easier to say, I'll continue to call her that. Wow. uh, it was cute, but... Yes, I'm sure you'll be able to help. Oh. I mean, it's... You have control over the goblins that defend the village, so it's not that unreasonable. Well then, what's the problem? I don't see that being terrible. I think you should accept the position. Oh wow, a lot of help you are. uh, yeah, because they're only human. Yes, the supreme beings of Nazarick. Of course, they weren't actually perfect, but probably true. I saw her command on those ogres. Which the whole point of that scene was to probably, show how ready she is, how suited, that's what I was looking for, suited she is for the position. Why are the ogres 3D and the goblins aren't? Just because they're bigger? I'm sure you do. Yeah, you sell yourself short a lot. But what? It's not really that surprising. Yeah, there's really no downside to accepting this. Aside from having to deal with more responsibility, I guess, for you. I'm sure that helps too. When it's a cute, nice girl, then yeah, it's pretty obvious of how that would end. Yeah, but they don't want to marry anyone else. I mean, I don't bother remembering their names, so you're definitely special in that regard. Well, to be fair, you want to bang her, so... Music. Okay, so it is the ED starting up. Is the episode really already over? It actually went by fairly quickly, considering how uneventful it was. Yeah, that's the ED, and that is such a metal image. And I just love the glow of that eye. But yeah, the episode was basically just, more village stuff. Which I guess is going to be this season's Lizards. Because we had basically no Nazarick this episode. But there's some beta, which is cool. And like one brief shot of Ainz for a joke, and that was about it. Hashtag happening. What does he want now? Why not? Things are gonna get exciting soon. You still seem oddly excited about that. I guess someone's a bit of an S. I guess at the end of the day, they all pretty much hate humans, so... Can't say I'm too surprised. There, yep. You're awesome, Beta. So that was the third episode of the third season of Overlord. So this episode, we started off with, obviously, at Karn Village again, the little goblin, talking about basically the whole situation with the forest and how the one great king of the forest, Hamusuke, leaving kind of threw things out of balance, and some king of ruin, I think they were calling him, tiny shadow, whatever they call this guy. It's just something shown up and he's kind of a problem. And the other two great entities, or east and west, are fighting against him, and they using the goblins as foot soldiers and emergency rations, and they kind of ran away because of that, and that's kind of the situation we're in now. Now, we also had Beta show up in this episode, which was pretty entertaining. She shows up in the first... One of the first things she does is comment about the little goblin, and she implies that Henry got together with one of the goblins and had a baby, and that's what that baby is. And that was just... it was obviously a joke, but man, Beta just... The things she can say without hesitation. I'm surprised... okay, I'm a little bit surprised that Theory didn't have a bit more of a reaction to that joke, but... And no one really said much about it at all, really. It's like they're just kind of pretending like it didn't happen, but... Yeah, it was definitely interesting comments. Beta's definitely an interesting character. Okay, we had a scene where Nefira gave his potion that he'd been working on, the improved potion, to the Beta to give to Ainz, and she had a really weird reaction to that. Like, I'm still not sure exactly what to make of that, but she just sounded a lot different when she commented on that. And I can't even venture a guess about exactly what was going through her mind there. The only guess I can even come up with is that we found out later that she's definitely a hard sadist, and she wants all the villages to be wiped out and all that. So maybe it was a reaction because she thought maybe if Nefira is making stuff that Ainz would want, Ainz wouldn't want them to die, and then would protect them, and they wouldn't all be destroyed like she wanted. I guess that's what it was about. That's the only even attempt at a guess I can make. I'm not even confident in that at all. But that's all I can really think of. Now, after that, we basically had... It's transition over to night. We had just showing Henry sleeping together with the little sister, pretty much just watching her as she sleeps with a very happy, content expression on her face. That little bit there actually kind of reminded me a little bit of Happy Sugar Life, to be honest. But like she just watches her to cleanse herself from all the horrible stuff of her daily life, and she just happy to come back to, just her one, I assume her one related blood relative there, and give her some, happiness and all that, just kind of away from all the scariness and the responsibility and all that. Of course, she doesn't have a lot of responsibility yet. That's probably going to go up when she actually becomes the village chief. But anyway, basically, the people came knocking, then they talked about how they had, like, these ogres that they captured, and then you had Henry basically get them under her control, like being a big, scary boss girl. And yeah, she did a pretty good job of that in spite of the fact that she was scared. We got some talking with her and Nefira, basically talking about going to Irantel for supplies and stuff. And yeah, that she had to go on her own. And if that wasn't bad enough, she couldn't even bring the goblins into the city because that would cause issues. So, and then she gets there and they start questioning her. They get all suspicious because she has a very valuable magic item on her, despite the fact that she's just some random commoner village girl. But luckily, the misunderstanding is cleared up for the most part once Momon shows up, and he's able to say, "No, she's good. I'm a big bad, famous adventurer, and I'm vouching for her, so it's all good. Don't worry about it." And she was able to leave without any issue beyond that. Then Naba came to her, asked her what's up, why she was there, and I assume that after that she kind of pulled some strings with Momon and got things to work out for her, basically, while she was sleeping, because the one lady had a very different change of heart between the fact that she initially talked to her and then when she woke up again and talked to her again. And because obviously Henry was sleeping during that period of time, she couldn't have done anything to manipulate or to alter the situation at all, so clearly it was, Momon and Nabe doing stuff behind the scenes. Obviously we don't know the exact thing that happened there, but we don't really need to. It's fairly obvious, the gist of it. And she was able to get what she needed without having to sell the horn or having it stolen, which is something I actually was concerned about for a little bit when they were talking about how valuable it was before. But yeah, she eventually got her stuff, which did include weapons and supplies for the goblins, which they were very appreciative of it, because these are high-quality weapons. Some of them had damaged weapons. They needed new ones. They already established didn't have a blacksmith, so this basically was a very important thing to do. And she eventually went back to the village, where she did meet the village chief who was standing outside of there, basically wanted to talk to her about her succeeding him, becoming the new village chief, which she was very hesitant about. Basically, she had her reservations with that. I guess she doesn't think she's good enough or whatever for the position, which usually when somebody thinks that, it's a sign that they actually are, they should have the position. A lot of the time, obviously doesn't necessarily the case, but usually it's a good sign. When people want you to do something, they think you're up for it, but you don't think you're up for it. That's usually kind of the best case scenario for getting a new leader. Like, you don't really want somebody in power that desperately wants power. That doesn't usually end too well, so this is kind of the ideal scenario. So if she does end up picking up the position, I'm sure she will make mistakes, like Beta said. Everyone makes mistakes, they're only human. Unless you're one of the 41 Supreme Beings, of course. So yeah, she had a bit of a talk with Nefire and Beta and all that, and I do think she's, going to take up the position. I don't remember if she actually said she would or not, but I think it's obvious she would either way. I did find it kind of funny when Henry was talking to Nefire about this, and he commented about, sure, everybody else is kind of accepting the goblins and all that, but you're the one that actually he calls them by name and all that, which I found that funny because I don't know any of their names. I don't care about them enough to learn their names. I know the author really likes his world building and stuff, giving the lizards names, the goblins names, backstories, and all that, but at the end of the day, I just don't care about the goblins. They're really interchangeable to me. Maybe I will care about them slightly more the next few episodes, depending on what happens, but for the most part, I just don't care. This show has a lot of characters. I can't really care that much about all of them. I'm really mostly invested in the Nazareth characters. I mean, I do like Lulu. I mean, she's fine. She's one of the lizards I bother to remember the name of, and Zarayasu I kind of remember the name of off and on, but no, the lizard really mattered to me at all. And the goblins, none of them really stand out to me at all. I know one of them has like a skull on his head, I guess, but they're just so interchangeable. I don't really care the difference. I do kind of keep forgetting just how much the Pleiadius maids just hate humans. Like, Nabe at that point was driven home very hard, similar to with Albedo, that they hate humans, look down on them, want to squash them like bugs and all that. We learned that pretty early on in the show. And, I don't know, Beta never really struck me as all that evil or anything like that before. I could just not be remembering it properly, but I don't really think we had much Beta, wow, you're so mean or evil type scenes. Like, I think this episode was the first time we really got to see that in action here, but she's straight up a sadist, and she wants to see these humans just die and suffer and burn and be crushed under the boots. So yeah, no wonder they refer to her as being scary and all that stuff. They probably pick up on some of that killing intent. Well, maybe not killing intent, but some of that animosity she feels. Whatever you want to call it. They probably do get that. So she obviously is not going to kill the humans or anything without Ainz's permission. Similar to Nabe and Albedo and all that. But yeah, I just sometimes I forget just how much they hate humans. One final thing I want to mention, just a little bit of thing, is that Yuri, the head of the Pleiadius maids, you had Beta call her Yuri Ne, translate as big sis there, which is fine. That's kind of funny because Yuri, it's a name here, but it obviously refers to, girl love, ex-girl love, and in those type of shows, they often call each other like One-sama, big sister and stuff like that. So her calling her Yuri Ned does always just kind of give me a bit of a chuckle. That is kind of something I wanted to mention real quick, so see you next time. Thank you for watching, and thank you Cnouki, as well as everyone else, for doing what you can to support the channel. It means a lot to me, and I hope we can continue to grow the channel together. If you want to do more to support the channel, then you can become a patron on my Patreon and get cool rewards like early access to certain videos. Have a good one.